Hi, everyone. Welcome to the DelightMe Services Mindset, a must-have for financial services innovation session. My name is Ash Sadiq. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called DelightMe, where we have a very big dream that I will be sharing with you around financial services and a lot of what we do on a daily basis. So the question on many of our minds today is, what's that mean? What does DelightMe mean? And I think a lot of us know what it feels like when somebody completely surprises us with something that when we see it and we understand what it is and what it could possibly do in our lives, we're very, very happy when we receive it. And sometimes you haven't been even thinking about it. You did not even know that it's possible. And it comes across the wire on your iPhone. You get a message saying there's just something amazing financially for you. You might want to open and take a look at it. And we're going to see what that means. And I think for the ladies with us on the call, it doesn't matter how big the box is, right? Because it could be something as a diamond ring and it doesn't take that much space. And we know how much money sometimes goes into those. So we can understand not only the financial value of what we're being given, but also the emotional value, what it means to us when somebody shows us that they actually care, that they have been thinking about us, that they have been thinking about what could possibly make us happy and delighted. And that's essentially what we're really talking about as the financial services industry thinks about how do we create more value? How do we retain our customers and make sure that we keep them for a very long time? And when we think about what's delightful for us, maybe as we saw earlier, it could be a beautiful gift, beautifully wrapped. It has a lot of emotional meaning to it as well. It shows us that that person cares. Or it's delightful for us to also see our kids going to college and graduating, or maybe it's delightful for us to be able to spend some time with some friends or go out on a picnic with the family, or it's delightful for us to finally go out and buy that car that we've been waiting to buy, or the house, and really gather in the hallway and open up the boxes and start enjoying this moment in our life. So those are the things from our standpoint, and I put myself alongside every customer out there because that's how I am looking at this whole issue. What is delightful for me? And that's really what got me thinking, and especially when I started seeing so much of the information that the financial services organizations already have about many of us. And when you look at some research coming out from Accenture, they title some of their work as Delight Delivered, and it's really looking at that customer experience, which, as they say here, it's the new battleground for financial services. A lot of companies like Uber and other companies, they're showing us how a lot of transactions can literally be completely hidden from our eyesight, and what we are at the receiving end of that delightful experience where we don't have to think about the payment step. We could just sit and enjoy the ride, if you will. So when you look at what Accenture is basically saying, for a long time, financial organizations, and actually organizations of all sorts and types, they would typically end up creating a product or service, and then they basically start scratching their head and say, hey, you know what, let me go find the right customer for this, and when I find one, maybe I'll talk to her about it. In the outside in customer experience world, what starts to happen is you actually start to get out of the building. You need to get out of that building and start talking to customers and understanding what are their needs, what are their expectations, what situation are they in, do they have a child in the house that's going to go to college, are they going to need another car, are they going to move house, are they going to sell the house that they have today, are they going to need a new car, what is the situation that they are in, and how can you stay close to that dynamic in their life, because things keep changing. And then on top of that, their preferences and expectations keep changing. And that is the challenge for anybody that provides these services. That customer, that client is a dynamic being, not a static being. And with that dynamism, the expectations continues to go higher, and we cannot just take a vanilla product like a checking account and expect to sell it to everybody out there. So that's part of the thought process, right? And then the other part of the thought process comes from this gentleman by the name of Jay Abraham. Jay Abraham is a marketing expert and guru in this country, and he talks about this principle called the strategy of preeminence. It's a big word, but what he actually means is if you have a customer, if you have a client, you should be thinking about how you can help that client get the most value for what they have. The quotation on the slide is talking about a business owner and how every business owner deserves the right to learn how to increase sales, multiply their profits, and mine every hidden asset and overlooked opportunity in their world. Now, when we take that and translate it to a consumer, an average citizen, that average citizen goes out, earns $100. He wants to make sure that he gets the highest level of value for these dollars, and he just starts storing them in the bank. He wants the bank to help him multiply their profits and help him mine every hidden asset and overlooked opportunity in the assets that he's got. If he's got a house, a car, an insurance policy, what are the opportunities that are hiding inside these assets, and they're waiting for the right person to come along and unlock those potential opportunities. So that mindset is critical for a DelightMe mindset. Here is the second level of detail. When you become a preeminent financial services company, you actually do become a trusted advisor. You understand that you have to have empathy. If you don't go out of the building and talk to actual customers, you cannot have empathy. You cannot just imagine that based on the fact that you've got this asset or that asset, that your typical average customer does. You've got to get out of the building and talk to these customers. And then you also need to have views that they can trust. And we'll see what that means, because if we're sitting inside the bank, we're sitting inside our financial institution, and we are not empathizing enough, you know what starts to happen? What starts to happen is you start sending messages to people that have nothing to do with them. It's a very broad brush. I'm going to throw some pasta against the wall and just hope that one of them sticks. And that's just not fair. The next one is distinguishing yourself. How can you make sure that your products and services are going to be differentiated enough, provide value enough for that customer, that customer will actually opt in or actually opt to stay with you? And then lastly, genuinely fall in love with those clients. If you think about their life and the changes that are happening in their lives, and you really come across as someone that has been thoughtful, thinking about the fact that this daughter is going to college, and then you come to them with an amazing proposition about how they can finance this daughter's education in college, and just you blow them away by the fact that you connected the dots across their insurance policy, the equity in their house, their FICO score, their income, and you just wow them by what you're putting in front of them, and make it so easy for them so they don't have to spend so much time thinking, because literally they cannot do the thinking. Not an average human being with an average brain cannot do the thinking that financial technology today, with machine learning and artificial intelligence and data analytics, these software packages can do so much more that any human being can actually do on their own. So then we come back and say, let's talk to us. Let's talk to these customers and ask them, what do you want from that DelightMe mindset? Everyone will basically say, you know what? Surprise me. All the stuff that I can do on my own, I do on my own. I can look at my bank account. I can do the best I can by looking at the numbers and maybe cross-referencing some of the line items. I can look at my car insurance, my home insurance. But you know what? It's too much. It's too much for anybody. And that's why I would love you if you do all the work for me. That's just a fact. Show me value where I never expected to find it. If you take my insurance policy and say, you know, you've been having this whole life insurance for a long time, face value, it's not really adding a lot of value for you. You can actually unlock some of that money that you're spending on a monthly basis and put your money in a term insurance, much lower monthly payment, and all of a sudden you have $400 that you can do something else with. Surprise me, show me value where I never expect to find it. And then if you can also work for me 24/7, you've got all these systems that can crunch numbers on a daily basis, 365 days a year. Please absolutely put them to use, and then keep them coming. You know, my life keeps changing. Keep coming back to me and give me some of those surprises. So this is really where the client is thinking that way. Then the client is not thinking bank, right? Deposits, loans. They're not thinking that way. And that's why we start essentially coming to another element of the picture, this whole picture then of being proactively delightful. And we're calling it the Proactive Finance Index. How many of the services that you are providing go beyond level one, go beyond you telling me that you're going to basically save me pennies, or you're going to give me points on my debit card, or you're going to give me miles on my debit card. You're talking pennies on the dollar. I want you to surprise me with dollars, and if you can come back to me with thousands of dollars in savings, now we're talking. That is the exponential value potential that exists already in the system. And it's amazing how when we start to look at the available money that's in the system, that we just need to unlock it by connecting the dots and giving people products and services that will literally delight them, that will literally wow them. And that's why when we started working on YamaPay, what we want to do here is honor work, honor its rewards. We want to help you keep more of the money you work so hard to earn. If there is an opportunity for any company that's working in financial services to help you keep more of the money that you earn, we should absolutely do that. Because as a result of doing that, we actually become part of your dream machine. We help you achieve more and see more of your dreams come true. And this philosophy drives the kind of feature set that we're thinking of as we think about our product and what we're trying to do and who we're trying to serve. Then we come back to one more thought and one more principle, and that principle is the highest and best use of the money that I have. The money that every one of us has, the money that you earn, you want to get the highest and best use of that money. That is added to our thought process around becoming a DelightMe services, financial services company, is we need to think about how can you help me save more of that money? How can you help me keep more of that money? And how can you help me achieve more of my dreams with that money? And the magic is in understanding the divide that exists today. If we are in financial services today, combined in the U.S. alone, we're spending a lot more than $88 billion a year because we're trying to get the attention of that customer. We're trying to get in front of them and say, hey, stop for a second, look at this car loan. Stop for a second, look at this credit line. Stop for a second, look at this home loan. And a lot of the time these messages come and they have a level of relevance of -1. And I'll show you what I mean by that. And that's really where you start thinking about that divide between where we are and where the customer is. There is a mindset issue, as I've been speaking so far, and then also there's a trust issue where as much as that customer is getting these irrelevant messages and getting messages that basically say, hey, I am here to make a buck. I don't care about you. Just click through so I can get you to sign up for one of these products. That's all I want you to do. But that ends up creating a lot of distrust because every time I get one of those messages, I'm like, you know what? This bank doesn't understand me. This credit company does not understand me. They just are looking for their own dollar. They're not looking out for my own benefit. When we look at an example, just a very simple example, too much of financial services today is a shot in the dark, as I was saying earlier. I keep getting this email from LendingTree, and it stays with this dollar value in it every single day. It doesn't change, even though the credit amount that I have is changing. They go and pick that piece of information once, and they keep using it maybe 30 days a month, and that tells me every single day they're just shooting in the dark. There's no relevance in the messaging. So once we do start to think in a DelightMe services way, we're going to have to be very, very religious about every message that we're telling and talking about and putting in front of that customer. And that's really why it's very important then to say, well, Ash, we are a financial services company. What should we do? And the idea that I have for you today is you need to put those products almost like in a gallery. Put them around the wall, the home, as we would see in the next chart. Just look at this chart and think, I've got this guy's home mortgage details. He might be thinking in a few years about retirement. There's a car insurance, there's a car loan, there's a wedding coming up in the family. They need to spend money planning for that wedding. They need to think about this and that around the wedding. They have some kids in the house that are going to go to college. And then start looking at the data element in these products, the amount of equity, the amount of the loan, the interest rate, the FICO score, the income level, the car insurance, how much is getting paid on a monthly basis. Has that person's driving record improved? Has that person's FICO level improved? And that dynamic nature of the financial life should be reflected in what DelightMe services you bring to the table. Those triggers is what's missing out for a lot of us. Sometimes that customer is not giving us the information because they don't have the level of trust where they feel like they can open the kimono and let you know more about what's coming up so that you can actually time travel with that client, understand what's coming up in the next few years. Because the financial advisor, even if I go to him or her, the chances of them knowing everything are still limited. The ability to use software and technology to do the cross-referencing are still limited. And that's really where what we are arguing is, first we need to have a mindset that really helps us think about what are those delightful experiences, and then we can come back to those systems and we think about how we can craft that experience roadmap using the technologies that we have and simplify as much as possible what the customer sees. So this idea of using a gallery walk of the financial products that your customer has is going to give you so much insight, not just on how you can optimize that portfolio of products and services, but you can also think about what's missing in that picture. What can I bring to the table that will make sense? And not just from what's going to serve me financially as a bank, what's going to increase my profits. I think if you do this for them, the chances of you increasing your profits, it's already a foregone conclusion. We don't even have to think about it. It's absolutely in that process. So that's why it's very important for us to understand that. So we come back to what we're doing here within YamaPay. This is exactly what we're going to try to do, because we discovered that once that customer gives me their home loan information, I can then look in the marketplace of different loans. What is the loan that would be much better for this person? I will stay in the dark, working away 24/7, 365 days a year. And once, very much like that Wheel of Fortune show where I am spinning that wheel every single day, I'm trying to look for something better than what they have. If I hit a loan that will be much better, given, of course, everything staying constant, and I can bring that loan to the forefront and I send that person an on-screen notification in the morning saying, hey, Jim, there's a new home loan refinance offer, and you double-click on it, and when you open it, you see your loan on the left-hand side and you see the new loan on the right-hand side, and you can see me showing you why there are benefits for signing up for the new loan. You're going to get a lower interest rate. You're going to reduce your monthly spend by $500. And everyone on the call can imagine what $500 a month can do from a cash flow perspective, from an investment perspective, a number of opportunities that it can open up. Again, if I am a mortgage company and I sold that loan and I'm sitting on it and I'm not thinking about it and I don't want to think about it sometimes because I'm getting such a juicy interest rate on it, I'm not going to go back and look at it. But if you're going to apply that strategy of preeminence, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to delight that customer, you can say, Mr. Customer, I know everything in your life is very dynamic. Everything is moving on a daily basis. We're going to make use of that dynamic nature of your financial life and continue to optimize your portfolio because we care about you. We love you so much. We want you to enjoy everything about your day and everything about your life. And that's why we want to optimize and continue to show you value and continue to show you that you should stay with us. So now, just imagine that thought process that we used with the home loan. Just take that same thought process, take the car loan and juxtaposition it with another car loan that's much better because this guy's FICO score has improved, their income has improved. You can save them X hundreds of dollars a month. Over the lifetime of that loan, you're going to save that person hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars. Cross-reference the home insurance policy, cross-reference the car insurance policy. You're already thinking, oh my God, unbelievable. The sky is the limit. And every time you come back with one of these notifications where there is a potential lower interest, there's a potential lower monthly payment, there's a potentially lower money spent on this thing over the life of this thing, whether it's a home insurance or a car insurance or a car loan or a home loan, whatever that product might be. Now, this person is going to love you forever, 5, 6, 7 generations down the line. They're not going to go anywhere else, right? So that's why it's important for us to understand that the two elements of fixing this, it's the mindset and the trust. And we start thinking now, what's going to happen when we do that? Our clients and our customers will have a much more joyful life experiences. That's where their mind is going to busy thinking about, I need to enjoy life every day. I don't want to be sitting and thinking about, oh my God, you know what, this home mortgage, just thinking about the whole idea of refinancing, it's so scary. It's so difficult. I don't want to even think about it. I was talking with a friend of mine. That's exactly what she told me. She told me it is so difficult. It's just so daunting. I don't want to even touch it because I know how difficult it is. And you can imagine what's happening in the back of her mind. This thing is on her mind. She's wondering, could I be saving money on that loan? And because I am so fearful of the process, of how much it's going to take for me to make that happen, that she keeps putting it off. The level of stress, the level of financial difficulty they are experiencing is as a result of whether or not you're really applying some of those DelightMe services ideas. So that's really where, once you get into that concept of, I am all about exciting my customers, I am all about delighting them, it's a whole different thought process. How we are incented if we're working in the mortgage office, sales office, or the car insurance office, we need to be very excited and also incented on how much we're leveraging what we know about the customer to delight them. When you look at the spend that we're doing on an annual basis, you take somebody's $100,000 salary and you think about all this noise on Bloomberg, on CNBC, all this noise is about 10-15% of that person's spend. And let's pray to goodness that he's actually putting money in the 401k or in the savings plan if he's a business owner. But that's a small amount of how much money is being spent on an annual basis. And this is where the largest opportunity for a financial services company to delight that customer, to wow that customer. And if you look at existing companies today, Mint, Credit Karma, Lending Club, all these companies are shooting in the dark because the level of a tight, intimate relationship with that customer does not exist. And if it does exist in the sense that the customer is giving you so much information about them already in your technology, you're not making use of that information. So we're not able to provide these DelightMe services. And that's why when I saw the amount of data that's already available in the system, let alone the amount of data that when we increase the trust level, we can go to that customer and say, hey, I really want to look ahead 5 years, 6 years, 7 years out. What's going on? And that customer tells you, my daughter's going to go to college. You know, my son is going to get married. We're going to need this. We're going to need that. That information is also very valuable because it's giving you a sense of what to expect going down into the future. And then you can come back and say, you know what, we need to optimize what we offer today so that by that time, by the time we get to that wedding, by the time we get to that second house, you've got what you need in order to make that happen. So that's really where we need to look at what that baseline minimum value that you're delivering for that customer, and how can you take them over all the way to the right so that DelightMe services large value potential opportunities. On our side at YamaPay, we realize that first we need to enrich people by helping them save money every day. So that's our initial focus. We're going to give them a digital wallet that gives them a lot of valuable information on the screen that is going to help them save money on a daily basis. But you and I know those are usually not that much unless they add up over time. And the second opportunity for us will be to educate them further on how do I make use of my financial products and understand them much, much better way. Understand the difference between whole life insurance and term insurance. Understand the fact that my car loan could be completely out of date because I never looked at it, and I need to look at it. There's potential that I could actually be saving money on a monthly basis. And then we start getting into that elevate stage where rich dad, poor dad mentality, where they also are starting to understand what it means to have the money work for them, what it means to have investments, what it means to have real estate investments, buying into businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, most of our clients are still one car breakdown away from bankruptcy. They don't even have money to fix the car. And we need to fix this situation. We need to really leverage the information we have so we can unlock hundreds of dollars that exist already in their portfolio. And that's what DelightMe Services is really supposed to do. So that's really where my call to action to you is really leverage this mindset of DelightMe Services. It really brings us back to this category of proactive finance that YamaPay wants to create and really be a very good example of. You need to do a lot of thinking automatically across life events. You need to show them options. What are the pros and cons, long-term impact, intelligent recommendations, all the different products, you know, a HELOC versus a business loan or a personal loan. A lot of the smarts that financial service advisor could do for them, we need to even do better with the automation that we have today. And you're sitting on so much information that you could do a lot of gallery walk, cross-referencing that is just going to be amazing how much it's going to trigger in terms of amazing solutions. So when it comes to YamaPay, this is essentially our release strategy where we will go to market this year. In the next couple of months, you see us releasing release number 1. Then we're going to go into release 2, where we're going to make it possible for people to optimize the bill payments and start really juxtapositioning these loans, you know, on the left-hand side, the existing one, on the right-hand side, the better one, and the same thing with the insurance portfolio. And after that, we're going to start expanding value partnerships with financial services, with retailers. We're going to make it possible for people to send money to each other. A lot of the existing features that you might see in Venmo and other places, PayPal, but we really want to tie up the financial spend so that people are able to optimize in a delightful way where their money is going and be able to do that in real-time experience versus coming to them a month later and tell them, you know, here's what happened last month. I mean, it doesn't help me that much when the information is a month old. I need to be able to leverage technology on a daily basis. When I am at the store just about to pay for something, I use YamaPay to tell me where my money is in each of the cards, what the interest rate is on each one of these cards, and then I select the best card that I can use, and then we walk our way back into the DelightMe services component, because that's where the big amount of money to save for them is. That's what we are thinking of. And here's the challenge for all of us. When you start thinking DelightMe, when you start thinking proactive finance, you're going to have to do a lot of services that are going to intersect a lot of industries, not just financial services. So if we're just thinking about staying in our bank or our financial service organization and trying to think about customer experience, you know what? Customer experience is so convoluted that sitting in that building is not going to help. If you look at Uber, you've got a financial payment in the background. You've got someone who's the driver driving his own car, and you've got a technology company like Uber really coming across all of those industries and making that happen, and a lot of other examples. So I think from a financial service standpoint, we need to step out. We need to get into the experience, whether it's a travel experience or a home ownership experience, whatever that experience is, and see how we can create delight at the intersection of these industries. So that is, I know, that is easily said than done, for sure. For YamaPay, these are the amazing financial services partners we're working with to really make a lot of what we're talking about happen. And at the same time, with a company like FMTC, we're making some retail options happen as well. So that's an intersection with the retail industry and a number of other players in order for us to really connect the dots and create a lot of value. That's all I have. Definitely one of our promises from a YamaPay standpoint is the fact that we will be able to help you put an extra $10,000 a year in your pocket as long as you use this app and this platform on an ongoing basis. The chances of you getting a whole lot more value and a whole lot more savings from it are absolutely going to be happening. And that's why we look at our platform as a rewards and savings maximization platform where rewards and savings never stop. That's definitely the passion we have behind it. I want to open up the lines for us to see if there are any questions. I will stop sharing now and look at the screen potentially where there might be some questions coming from you. So now let's take a look here. So I definitely have a few questions. Number one is, will the optimization process be happening real time, for example, be able to show costs of early mortgage renewal rates? I think that would be ideal. I think as you are starting to think about it this way, there is definitely the potential of doing so much real time. And again, that is delightful. That is absolutely delightful if you could do that. If you can basically say, hey, you're just about to make a decision, you might want to take a look at this before you make that decision. So absolutely, I think the more real time we can get, and that's why with our wallet feature, we'll be the first company that leverages real time bank balances and credit card balances right up on the screen, so that when you're spending money, you're not in fear of, oh my God, if I run this transaction, am I going to be able to actually make it pass through? We do that on our side. We do that with the technology we have already. We do the calculation. We only present on the screen the cards that have money. How long does it take to assess the client and then make it possible for them to start getting results? Again, here we're really depending a whole lot on the technology. So I think in this case, as to your point, I think one of the key factors here, of course, is the lead time. As much as this customer is in your platform, and you start building some data about that customer, you can go to that customer and say, I have 5 data points about you, but you know what? I also want to find out what you're thinking of, what's coming up ahead, so we can do the best we can for you. What about life data, the aggregated risk across the whole spectrum, career investment portfolio, pending demands, in short, as a weighted average of the customer total risk? I think this is a fantastic concept. I think the customer needs to understand those in language that the customer will understand. I think that's the other challenge for us in financial services. We need to talk in a way that cousin Vinny understands, right? So as much as we can talk in the language, that would be awesome. The next question I have here is, save money, get more from money spent are delights to accountants, but financial services banking are the infrastructure of life, not the purpose. Purposes include raising our kids. Yes, absolutely. That is absolutely true. And what I'm basically arguing is the fact that if we think in the DelightMe fashion, on the back end of that thought process will be more engagement with financial services companies. They will actually have a lot more revenue coming in, because now the customer sees that there is a whole lot more coming from that relationship, versus just the concept of, I just need your deposit so I can base a lot of my services of loans and credit cards on. I think once we step out into that bigger light, there is just unlimited potential. So these are fantastic questions. Very glad that you were able to join me. Some of you have asked me to reach out. I'll definitely do that. And I will definitely will make sure the slides are available for you as well. The recording will be available. And my contact information is available on the very first slide. If you want to reach out to me, it's ash@yamapay.com. And I thank you for participating. Hope you have a fantastic afternoon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.